some breaking news from Kerala, where the Congress workers are taking out a protest march towards DGP office, demanding action against CPM workers, attacking the Youth Congress and KSU workers. Now, hundreds of workers under the leadership of opposition leader V.D. Satishan and KPCC president are taking out this protest. In fact, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, Ramesh Chennithala are also part of this protest. So, this is the latest news that we're getting from the state of Kerala, where the Congress workers are taking out a protest march towards the DGP office, demanding action against CPM workers, attacking the Youth Congress workers and also the KSU workers. Now, what we're learning is that hundreds of workers under the leadership of opposition leader V.D. Satishan and KPCC president are taking out these protests. And in fact, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and Ramesh Chennithala are also part of this protest. So remember, clashes erupted between the Congress and the CPM workers on Friday, as the left government's month-long outreach program Nava Kerala Sadas neared its finale, after which today what we're learning is that the Congress workers are now taking out a protest march towards the DGP office. Now, what they're demanding is that action should be taken against the CPM workers attacking Youth Congress and KSU workers. And the visuals are on your screens right now. These visuals are coming in from Thiruvananthapuram, where the Congress workers are taking out protest march towards the DGP office, and they're demanding action against the CPM workers attacking Youth Congress and the KSU workers. Now, there are hundreds of workers under the leadership of opposition leader V.D. Satishan and KPCC president are taking out these protests. And CNN News 18's Neetu is now joining us with more details. Neetu, what is the update on these protests, and what is the reason behind these protests? We'll try to reconnect with Neetu, but what we're learning is that in Kerala's capital, Thiruvananthapuram, the Congress workers are taking out a protest march towards DGP office, demanding action against the CPM workers who allegedly attacked the Youth Congress workers and the KSU workers, is what they're claiming. And as you can see in the visuals, the workers are taking out this protest march under the leadership of opposition leader V.D. Satishan and also the KPCC president. So these are the visuals that are coming in from Thiruvananthapuram, where the Congress workers are staging protests. In fact, they are taking out a protest march to the DGP office. And CNN News 18's Neetu is now joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram. Neetu, what is the latest update as far as these protests are concerned, and what is the reason behind these protests?
See, we can show you the visuals here. Tear gas shells are still being used on these protesters, and not just that, this tear gas shells they started using when the leaders were on stage. Leaders like Tharoor, V.D. Satishan, Ramesh Chennithala, all of them were on stage when the tear gas shells were used on these protesters, water cannons. While the leaders were speaking on stage, the workers went near the barricade. They went on a push and pull with the police. So that is when the police started the use of water cannons, and from there now tear gas shells were used onto the workers. That is what we are seeing from the visuals at the moment right now.
Right, Neetu. So those are the latest visuals coming in from Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram, where tear gas shells are being fired, and the Congress workers are taking out protests against and they are demanding action against the CPM workers attacking the Youth Congress workers and the KSU workers. And these are the latest visuals that are on your screens right now from Thiruvananthapuram. Now, remember, hundreds of workers are currently taking out these protest marches under the leadership of opposition leader V.D. Satishan and Kerala Congress president. And in fact, what we're also learning is that Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and Ramesh Chennithala are also part of these protests. And we have CNN News 18's Neetu, who is live with us from Thiruvananthapuram. Yes, Neetu, please continue.
this tear gas shells were used among those crowds that were here. So we are also being attacked by this. Everyone with their eyes are being affected. They are not being able to stand there. The workers were dispersing. That is what we were seeing at the moment. But still, they are not completely dispersed from the area. So the tiff between the police and the workers are continuing at the moment. We can see from the visuals that the workers have not completely gone from the area. That is what we are seeing right now. This entire stretch, workers were there, elderly, like all Congress workers, including the leaders, were there, and it is at that time the police used this tear gas to the middle of the crowd. The leaders.
All right, so those are the latest visuals that are coming in from Thiruvananthapuram, where the Congress workers are staging protests and demanding action against the CPM workers who allegedly attacked the Youth Congress workers and also the KSU workers. Now, remember, these clashes erupted between the Congress and the CPM workers on Friday as the left government's month-long outreach program neared its finale. Now, the Nav Kerala Sadas, which was the outreach program, is set to conclude today, but what we're learning is that, and we are showing you the visuals live from Thiruvananthapuram, where the Congress party is staging protests. In fact, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor is also a part of this protest. Neetu continues to stay with us, bringing us all the latest updates. Neetu, what are the demands that are being raised by these protesters?
I'll show you this road right here outside the DGP's office. This is the area which had been barricaded. Now here we can see that the workers were here in this road. That's when the water cannons were used, and not just water cannons, tear gas shells were used on these protesters. The leaders were talking on stage. We can see that vehicle which they have arranged as a stage. Opposition leader V.D. Satishan was speaking when this attack was on. Tear gas shells were used on these protesters, even water cannons. So while the leaders were talking on the other side of the barricade, we saw that the workers trying to push the barricade and entered into a tiff with the police. That is when they resorted to the use of water cannons, but MLAs and MPs were on stage, but the Kerala police just went ahead and used water cannons and tear gas shells on them. This entire stretch in the road, we were all being affected. None of us were able to open our eyes. That's the effect this tear gas shells has. So none of us were able to open our eyes. We had to run to the other side. Now, even after that, the protesters, we can see from the visuals that water cannons of water have been used till this part from that barricade area. But still the protesters have not completely gone from here. They are regrouping and coming back. Several rounds of tear gas shells have been used, and it had been used onto this crowd. We can also see that some instances of stone pelting also that has been happening. We see that the workers are there near the barricade. They have not gone back. They are regrouping and the protest is here. But this is something which we have not noticed in the entire protest that has been having, because this is they are dealing with a very strong hand. The police is dealing it with a very strong hand. MLAs, MPs were on stage, but at that time they resorted to the use of tear gas. So that is something which we have not witnessed while we were covering the N number of protests. So this is something which the Congress will also take very seriously, because opposition leader was speaking on stage. Shashi Tharoor MP, Ramesh Chennithala, former opposition leader and MLA, was on stage. K. Sudhakaran MP, all these leaders and a dozen other MLAs were on stage when the police resorted to this kind of attack. There has been several injuries. As we said, the tear gas shells, the rounds of tear gas shells that were used, even we were unable to breathe. We couldn't even open our eyes. So that was the situation here on the ground. But still, we cannot say that the condition is still under control, because from the visuals we can see that the protesters are not backing off. Their leaders were attacked. So this is not something which the Congress will be taking lying down. The leaders have been rushed out from this area, but definitely this is not something they will take lying down.
All right, Neetu, thank you so much for getting us all those details right from the ground. We'll keep coming